here's what I thought you did well, and here's what I agree upon, with you on, and here's some areas that I disagree with you on, and maybe, here's some constructive feedback, take it or leave it. I think that would be a little bit better approach. Hey, it's Lance McGowan here, and today I'm going to review a YouTube comment of a woman who unsubscribed after watching my K. Nichols video about MLM scams. Whew, it happens, but I want to provide a reasonable response to what happened and basically read her comment off first. Okay, so she basically left a comment on the video that I did a review on, and she said, Lance McGowan, LMFAO, congratulations, you just lost a loyal subscriber and viewer. Not every comment on your video has to do with the facts you presented, especially given that you started your video off by going off on a tirade against these birds. I mean, speaking of tirades... Anyways, let's continue. She then goes on to say, you could have stated, I am skipping her intro because she has loud noises in the background. Okay, that's valid. If you wish to see what I mean, please view her video. Link in the description. Okay, that's fair. A comment that would have gained more than a few people's respect. But you didn't. She going in. As a result, you were off topic and distracted. Your comments about this lady's birds were non-sequitur. Oh. I'll take big words for 500, Alex, okay? The more you know. In fact, it's a red herring fallacy. Oh, snap. You started your video in the same way that she did, and it honestly distracted me from hearing what you had to say for a good while. But no, because I'm obviously what? Anti-MLM? Question mark? Anti-essential oils? Question mark? Whew, alright. Getting hot in here? Is it just me? Just me? Okay. She then goes on to say, well, Lance, let's look at the facts that you were too distracted to see. I never stated that I disagree with you and or agree with her and vice versa. This is a product of the common us versus them mentality often found in religions and cults. Now it should be said, hold on. Okay, alright, let's just calm down, alright? I do appreciate that she spent the time to write such a long comment. I mean, good night. I mean, that takes a lot of time. So I appreciate, I always look at criticism, whether it's constructive or deconstructive, as information from another person's perspective. And that's important to know, right? There's either a kernel-sized truth or a watermelon-sized truth that you can pull out of something. You probably hear me say that in other videos, but it's the truth. And it's important to try to, figure out what we can improve upon. Obviously, constructive feedback is going to be better than deconstructive feedback, but not all people like to even hear constructive feedback because it's still pointing out where you could have done something better or maybe where you were wrong, even though that's subjective based on what standard you're using. But anyways, we'll continue with what she says. She says, now it should be said that EOs are not cults, and I do not believe them to be as such. Okay, that's one area where we can agree upon, and it's important to note when you have discussions with people, maybe there's areas that you do agree with them on, and maybe areas that you don't agree with, and it's, it's nice to start off with the areas that you agree upon so that there's a common, ground, and then maybe go to the disagreements and why, and do so respectfully. Ooh, that's not done a lot in my YouTube comment section or a lot of YouTube comment sections. And I believe it's because people just don't care to be respectful. They just like rant, vent, negativity, disrespect without, maybe having effective communication skills. But it happens. It's a part of, I can't control people. I can only try to lead by example. But, I don't do things perfectly either. I just am trying to come from a more reasonable, more objective position and add a little, education as well as entertainment factor into things because, people, it's nice when you can laugh and learn, but not everybody likes to laugh, apparently. So. She says, next fact, you are presumptuously and presumingly assumed, wow, that's a lot of words there, that I did not watch the whole video or did not listen to what you had to say. Yeah, this is a comment string. So there was a comment before and a comment after this one. I'm just kind of giving you the meat of it, right? The juicy parts. Okay. She says, I'm so sorry that you have to think that way in order to portray your bad decision to not just skip over the distraction as my issue. In both instances, found in your very short response to me, you committed another logical fallacy, hasty generalization. You seem so high and mighty telling Christian, it's K, but that's cool, to make more accurate conclusions based on reason when you're out here making your own false accusations and committing logical fallacies that, at least to me, exhibit your own reasoning skills need work. Can I get a specific example of that with verbiage? Nope, not given. Just her ending her rant here. She says, while I appreciate your very kind response, Lance, no. Is that like a backhanded compliment? Like you like appreciate you, but no, maybe. Alright, anyway, she goes on and concludes to say, you do not get to sit on your perceived beautiful throne and talk down to other people who are commenting on your videos. Well, I could say the same for you. I mean, let's be nice, okay? If you don't like the social part of social media, get off of it. Again, if that ain't the pot calling the kettle black, I don't know what it. You may be asking yourself, Lance, what are the lessons learned? What can we learn from this? I think there were some valid points made, right? I could skip over some parts that are more distracting instead of calling them out like I did. Maybe, I mean, there is some entertainment value for those that find it entertaining. There could be some distracting off of the distracted part for others. I get it. So here's some lessons I learned. Not everyone is going to like or agree with what you do or say, and a lot of people lack self-awareness, empathy, and get defensive with feedback, whether it's constructive or deconstructive, and that's true. I mean, it's hard to hear, something that you could do better because it implies that you did something wrong or not the best, and, we have pride and we have ego and we have things that we need to get over, so I'm not beyond reproach, I'm not beyond correction, like I'm open to constructive feedback way more than deconstructive feedback, because constructive feedback shows me that somebody knows how to communicate respectfully and disagree respectfully and share their opinion or dislike or facts, whether it be opposing or for, in a more reasonable way. And I think that's really the heart of like having great communications and discussions with people, and I think that that's just not really talked about a lot. I think people just kind of make a mountain out of a molehill, or get triggered and they get just rant and vent online, and it's a free country, freedom of speech, you can share your opinions, but I think there's a good, better, best way of doing that, and there's a bad, worse, and the worst way is my point. Anyway, some other learnings is the best thing you can do is look for the kernel size or watermelon size piece of truth from what people say and learn from them. And I think, yeah, definitely, I think, the only question I would have is, could you help me understand what some examples of what she's talking about, of where my reasoning skills need more work? I mean, good night. And yeah, there's assumptions on both parts, and I think they were more one-sided, like you were distracted, Lance, and you did this and you did that, versus like, hey, like here's what I thought you did well, and here's what I agree upon, with you on, and here's some areas that I disagree with you on, and maybe here's some constructive feedback, take it or leave it. I think that would be a little bit better approach, and I think and I certainly respond to that really well. I respond to this, I make videos, but I think like from a personal development standpoint, I think it's helpful when people, they call it like the compliment sandwich, where you start off with something positive, not flattering, right? You want to keep it real, genuine, authentic, positive. Then you have the negative, or the improvement opportunity, as they want to label it, or the constructive feedback on something that maybe wasn't done to someone's standard or expectations or whatever you want to call it, you know, the middle part of the sandwich. And then you got the bottom layer of the sandwich of the bread, and that's something positive. So you start positive, you have the uncomfortable middle, and then you end positive, and that's the sandwich, the compliment sandwich. And that's a good way to give feedback. That's one way I was taught with my previous employer. Does it work every time? No, because you can't reason with the unreasonable people. But for folks that are open to constructive feedback and open to personal development and are reasonable, then yeah, that's a really good way to give, help everyone, become a better version of themselves and all that good stuff. And I spent a little bit more time on that in my videos and talking about that because I think that's really important. I think people think they, she she said mentioned something about me being on a throne or high and mighty, and then if I give off that perception, that's definitely not the case. Like yeah, I make mistakes, I am not perfect, I have lots of improvement opportunities, and I think the reality and the truth is we all do, right? But we're not all aware or honest about our own in a way that actually creates some type of change over time. And that's pretty much it. Well, what do you think? Do you think, my review videos went in too much, or do you think it was a balanced way to kind of provide the other side because they were, like K. Nichols or maybe even genetically modified skeptic were very one-sided or with the blinders on, whether they use facts or opinions as their main method to communicate on their videos? Well, make sure to hit the like button if you did and got more perspective out of today's video. Hit subscribe for future video updates if you haven't already done so, and most importantly, check out the links in the description below so you can continue to get your learn on, and I'll see you in the next video.